Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Out of Spec podcast. I am Francie. Thank you for joining us today for another electric episode. I am lucky enough to be joined by Jose from Rivian Tracker, our special guest, always on all things Rivian. You are always finding the details and bringing them to us and helping us also discuss the significance of these stories when they come along with this grand EV startup company that is Rivian. And today we are talking about an exciting new partnership between Rivian and Google, a monumental force in the world. So let's dive in. This episode is made possible by the support we get from Fort Collins Kia. If you are in the market for any electric Kia, not only do they never add market adjustments, they will deliver your car to you anywhere in the 48 contiguous states for out-of-spec viewers. More information in the link in the show notes. Okay, Jose, welcome back to the podcast. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Francie. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. It's been a little too long, if you ask me, since you've been on, but you do bring good tidings. And that is some information on Google and Rivian. When I hear that, I'm just thinking of all the possibilities. Google seems to be the world of possibilities. They have so much data, they have so much software. What does this partnership look like and why now?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this so let's just kind of take a step back. Rivian, Google hosted. They had their kind of developer conference where they talk about what they're working on, what's coming up. A lot of AI focused stuff is really what Google's working on right now, and so that's called Google I/O. It just happened, and so a couple of eagle eye folks were up there and spotted a couple of Rivian vehicles, sitting and hanging out there at the event. And now, obviously that can be easily mistaken for just employee vehicles or whatever, but these were staged in a way where it was like, just kind of different. So that kind of led us to, believe that something was going to happen. And it did happen. Really excitingly, Rivian announced that they're partnering with Google to launch a couple of things coming to their vehicles. Number one, they're launching Google Cast, which is like Chromecast pretty much, which is going to allow pretty much the end user like me or you to be able to stream content from pretty much any device into your Rivian's main screen or even rear display. Such as Netflix or Amazon Prime or Disney Plus. I mean, the list is endless, right? That way you can actually watch content. And then and by the way, this is an industry first, right? No other EV or gas or any other auto manufacturer is doing this today. So this is very much an industry first. The ability to be able to cast, as they say, content to your vehicle wirelessly. If you're an Apple user, this is very similar to like AirPlay, right? It's just Google's proprietary technology.
Exactly.
And Google Casting works with both Android and iOS. So, it's really nice. And so that's one of the announcements. The other announcement was that Google and Rivian are working to release a native YouTube integration with the Rivian vehicles. So, we just talked about casting, but instead of having to cast YouTube onto your vehicle, there will be a native integration, an app, right? That's been designed closely with Rivian and closely with Google to create the best user experience. So, you look at Tesla today, for example, I'll use them as an example. They have a YouTube app within their interface, right, for entertainment. A lot of that it's a port, right? It's been ported over from, whether it's an Android app or an iOS app or an iPad app. This is what's really cool about this variant of it is that it is, Google and Rivian worked very closely together to create this cool integration.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay, first of its kind. That's pretty cool. Is it going to be in R1T and R1S? Is it going to be a software update for all owners? Is it just in future like R2 or what? Do you
yeah,
know?
no. So this is coming to all the vehicles on the road today, right? So all R1 variants that exist today, we'll get this via a future software update. And as you know, with running Rivian Tracker, outside of reporting Rivian news and all that, software is like my specialty, right? Is what I love to talk about. So I will be closely monitoring as we get more additional information. I'm sure we'll see a beta come out to employees here very soon, if it hasn't already been released, and that will probably give us some more details. But um, taking a step back, I think what I really want to talk about the importance of this, right? Because
Yeah.
Google's a big company, and Rivian is a startup, as you mentioned, and they're working their way through. And what's really cool about this whole Google Cast situation is that it really expedites the process of being able to bring entertainment apps to the vehicle instead of having to work with let's say Netflix or Disney to create a Disney Plus app, right? A native application that runs directly on your vehicle. You suddenly have access to well over 10,000 or more apps, right?
Mm.
Because that allow you to cast from there. And
Yeah.
we're talking about entertainment apps, but really this opens up to a plethora of more apps, right? Such as,
Hmm.
Waze, if it allows you to do that, or a better route planner, ABRP, which is a great, tool for EV drivers. So,
Hmm.
but primarily entertainment apps is really what most people are probably going to use it for, especially, folks who road trip with younger kids,
Hmm.
being able to play something on the rear screen or on the main screen when you're charging, being able to
Yeah.
stream audio because we talk about video, but also it's audio. So
Hmm.
you stream YouTube music, right, if you want to. So that opens up the ability, and so suddenly instead of having to go and create all these one-off apps, you've just opened up with a push of a button everything.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty like cover-all solution to the entertainment side of things, where I can just cast what I usually have on my phone, what my phone easily has, all the apps I could possibly want at the tips of my fingers now on the screen in my Rivian. So of course I see the significance in the entertainment aspect. And this is such a software forward electric vehicle startup anyways with Rivian. So that is obviously valuable. And also, I see the value in that this is a first for Google and obviously a first for Rivian. So I start to think about that's an interesting partnership. I mean, Google has a market cap of like $2 trillion. Okay. So, not necessarily that like Google and Rivian are totally in ties with each other and collaborating on the future, but that is a start of a collaboration with a startup automaker that could probably use, whatever support, especially from Google, that they could get and all the opportunities that come from that. So I start thinking about the possibilities there, what this could mean for Rivian in the future, because they do make a great product and we're excited to see what they continue to come out with. It seems like they are approaching an interesting part of the market of what people want in EVs. Of course, I'm excited to see how the pricing comes down with R2 and things like that so that more and more people can experience the Rivian lifestyle. But then I start to think about you kind of mentioned route planning and I mean I'm curious if this would lead to something like Google Maps coming into route planning in your Rivian and working to find all the chargers that are now opened up, from the Tesla Supercharger network to the Rivian Adventure network to public CCS charging and all of that. Do you think that this is perhaps a gateway into that kind of collaboration?
Yeah, I do. I really do think so. I think that, for the longest time, when you think about like the top navigation apps out there, right? You think of probably Google Maps and Waze, right? Waze, which is owned by Google, nowadays. That's all. These are two of the top um, apps that people love to use. I know personally, while the navigation on the Rivian is really good, there are many times that I still rely on using something like Google Maps or a better route planner, which uses Google Maps or Waze, right? Because it has all these additional features such as literally, curated live traffic, because it's, us as the drivers are the ones telling others, hey, there's an accident here, right? Avoid this road, blah, blah, blah. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I do think this is going to open up for more. I really do hope that, Rivian right now does not use Google for their navigation. They have integration with Yelp, um, and one of the biggest complaints I've always had is like, oh, uh, there's an accident ahead, right? And the navigation on the Rivian just doesn't really do a good job of, like, telling us,
Yeah.
oh, there's an accident up ahead. Right? It's not live, but like if I'm using a third party app like Waze or a better route planner or even Google Maps natively, right, through my phone, um, it will automatically update the routes, right? Like, oh my goodness, there's an accident up ahead. It's going to add, 3 hours of time. Let me direct you, right? We're going to take you this different way. It may be out of the way, but it's going to save you time, right? And so these are the things I
Mhm.
really, really do hope that we see come in the future. Right now, we don't have any word on, whether we're going to get Waze or Google Maps on the Rivian, but I truly do hope that that we see that come in the future. I know myself included and many other Rivian owners are not satisfied with the current navigation offerings. We see, I follow very closely the other EVs. I see what Tesla's doing, right? Recently, they released a software update that it now shows you, right, live traffic on a little graph, right, as you're driving in progress, and it shows you, oh, there's going to be traffic here, there's traffic there.
Mhm.
I want that stuff, right? And Tesla uses Google Maps, so we know that
Mm.
it's possible, right? So
Definitely.
I think that's, something that we could potentially see. And then Google is a bajillion other things, right? I mean, Google.
So many.
I mean, so many things. I don't even. The possibilities are endless, and
They could
we
be.
talk about AI. Google is
Mhm.
on the forefront of AI with their Gemini project and all that. So how could that be utilized, right, in a way to help, predict things or do that? And of course,
Sure.
there's the flip side where privacy is a concern, right? With all of this access to stuff, you have to make sure that you have the
Yeah.
ability to still tell people, hey, it's safe, your data is controlled, and all that. And so
Sure.
there's a double-edged sword when you talk about things like that with Google or any other
That's
company,
true.
really.
Kind of opening up a can of worms, but also of possibilities with a partnership like this. It could be taking advantage of the dynamic data that you're talking about that just really enhances an experience. Give me all of the data about my route, that I can need about charger and charger dynamic data. How in use are they, and having that all integrated so that I can best route myself home, route myself on to a charger, route myself on a road trip. That seems with the Google Maps aspect, if that's possible to bring that in the future, that would be really cool. And also you did mention AI, and then that makes me think of autonomous driving. Tesla is obviously leading the way with that, with the full self-driving right now. There are some other companies for sure, but who knows, that could happen in the future too. Maybe they could collaborate on that. It could be a self-driving Rivian one day, I suppose. And it also
Yeah.
makes me wonder about competitors too, because there's, Google is moving on this. And then you were listing like the maps that you use. And I was always a Google Maps gal. But then I was like, let me try Apple Maps. And Apple, everyone has an iPhone, although a lot of people have Androids, of course, and Android Auto is important, but we're kind of an Apple team over here. And I've got to think Apple was working, they were working on a car for how long, and what are they doing with that? Do you think that this would like kind of open up the competition for Apple to move in, or would Google having this partnership kind of keep Apple out, or is there room for maybe both of that kind of thing? I mean, I don't really know where all of that is or where Apple is with their car. I know they kind of abandoned
Yeah.
it, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually funny you bring that up, because in the literally the last week or two, we've seen a couple of news outlets report, and myself included, about this rumor, right, that Apple and Rivian are talking, right, and that through the supply chains, there's some credible Apple websites that usually report on credible, leaks for Apple and all that have reported some credible, what's the word I'm looking for? Just sources saying that, hey, they're in discussion for something, and so that really makes you think, like, what could that be? And I don't foresee, I'm not thinking here like, oh, Apple's going to go buy Rivian, right? I don't think Apple spent well over $10 billion on their Project Titan, which was their car project,
Yeah.
and only to just
And
get
now what?
canned. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, just kind of my personal opinion, I was an Apple employee for many years. I worked at Apple a long time ago and loved the company and all that, but I don't see them as a car company, right? That's not what they are in my
Mhm.
mind. I think that wasn't a route they should have gone. Cool that they did, and it would have been really
That's
neat to
cool.
see a product come out of them. But what really has me thinking here is, like, they worked on a lot of full self-driving technology, a bunch of other stuff like that. What are they going to
Mhm.
do with that, right? They're not just going
Mm.
to throw it away, right? There probably is going to be some use for that. So that could potentially be with it. And the reality is, I don't think Rivian should be in bed with just one company. I think they need to be friendly with everybody. Google, Apple, and Disney. I don't care, right? It doesn't matter. Like, all of these companies, they should be
Yeah.
working together to create products and come together, and whatnot. So I do think that all of this talk, with Google and potentially Apple, I think confirms just a couple of things. And I mean, these have been confirmed by Rivian before, but, like, anybody who continues to sit and go, oh man, I really want, Android Auto or Apple CarPlay to come to the vehicle. I think, that's not going to happen. I think we're seeing, as we see all these closer integrations work, Rivian wants to create their own stuff, right? And they're doing a great job creating their software. Is it 100% yet? Absolutely not. I can tell you personally that there's
Yeah.
flaws, but we're getting there, right?
Mhm.
Or I should say, they're getting there. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just someone who talks about it. But they're
You
doing a
do.
phenomenal job, and
Yeah.
so, but there's definitely flaws still there. So, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Yeah, the Google is awesome. We'll see if something happens with Apple. It may have been absolutely nothing. It may be nothing whatsoever. But could be cool. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll link all the, press release, the information in the show notes, so y'all can go check it out. But I do think it's an interesting, first off, partnership. Really, a lot of potential for autonomous driving technology, for software enhancements, for data integration and analytics. Google's so great at that. For over-the-air software updates to improve what's going on with the EVs. Better navigation, charger integration, who knows, like the market expansion implications, it could add a competitive edge. So I do agree that they should definitely keep their options open. Why not embrace any partnership that comes along, especially when you are on your first iterations of an EV company that is doing so far so good, gotta say. So pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And yes, audience, for those who don't know, Jose really tracks the stuff. I mean, you are out there daily looking into the forums, looking into all the little details that a lot of people let go under the radar. So check him out with Rivian Tracker, no E, Rivian
Yeah. Yeah.
Trackr.
So, Francie, I mean, if I may take a moment just to toot my own horn for a second, I don't do it often, but I just want to for a second. Recently, we had Rivian had their Q1 2024 investor call where they talked about everything, and RJ, the CEO of Rivian, talked a little bit about the community, and briefly mentioned that there are people out there that track every single software update that we release and all that. And I didn't get called out specifically by name, but boy, was I tagged on every social media outlet by everybody saying
Oh
that was
wow.
clearly you. So
Mm.
I'm not saying it was me, but I'm saying it was me. So I'm just
I
saying that's
mean,
kind of cool.
you've
Pat
got the
myself.
passion to back it up. Yeah, that's awesome to get that shout out. And it's true. I mean, to look daily into this stuff, to really track it, and also make it so that anyone can access the same kind of information that you find is really
Hmm.
cool, because the EV space is full of enthusiasts and passionate people. So you're doing, I think, a lot of people a service by looking
It's
into this.
just,
So
yeah,
congrats.
it's fun. It's fun, and I'm grateful, and that my day job allows me to do this type of stuff as well. So because
Always a
I
plus.
sure, yeah, I do it for the community and the fans. So I appreciate you bringing it up a little bit. But yeah, thank you.
Of course, I appreciate you, coming and talking about this and bringing it to my
Anytime.
attention when I haven't heard of it yet. You are awesome. So definitely
Yes. I'll
appreciate
be
it.
out.
And
I'll
if there,
text Francie and be like, "Hello, did you hear about this thing?"
I'm like, Jose, let's get on the horn, man. Gotta
Yeah.
love it. Really love the collaboration here. And if we get any more details, we'll be happy to follow up, or there might be a pinned comment below if we find out more things after the announcement with even, or, now after the announcement with even more details.
Yep.
So yeah, keep an eye out. Rivian, their last big announcement was R2, R3, R3X. And then we were kind of like, what else are they going to do in the meantime while we wait for these new EVs? Well, maybe we're going to see
Yeah.
some more interesting collaborations like this.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got to keep the ball rolling, right? You got to keep excitement
Exactly.
because you
Keep
can't make
moving.
announcements for 3 vehicles and then be like radio silent. So there's got to be other things.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, they did that theater out in California that
I
Jordan
saw
covered, but
Jordan's video. Oh, phenomenal. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful work. So
it
shout out
was.
to that.
And thank you everyone for plugging in today with the Out of Spec podcast. Let us know what you think. Would you be very thrilled if your EV or your car had Google Cast? We'll see what comes next for Rivian. Have a great rest of your day, y'all. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.